channel, Gary.
Welcome to Two Dudes with Two. I'm Josh.
And I'm Shae.
As many people have experienced watching TV, you eventually come onto the sports channel.
Ooh.
And if you're lucky on that sports channel, it's not talking about stats, except for the stats of broken bodies. That's right. We're talking about injuries that have happened during sports. Now, it's kind of a funny thing. There's been a lot of stupid injuries.
Well, of course. I mean, it's the world.
There's been injuries where a guy was fluffing his daughter's pillow and torn oblique. Well, not torn, but
Severed.
Made his oblique sore. Fluffing a pillow. Had to sit out of a game. Like, come on.
Hey, man.
I'll give you a hint of what sport it was. It wasn't football, or soccer, or football, baseball. Pansies. I mean, there's been over celebrations that have caused certain pain. Guy celebrated, fist pumped too hard. Grammatica.
Yep.
Boom! Torn ACL. Out for the rest of the season, which wasn't it was only a few games anyways, but out. Guy was going hard in practice this year. His name's McKinnon. I have him on my fantasy football team.
Had him.
Going hard in practice. Torn ACL.
Woo.
Guess who got rid of him? This guy.
That was it. Had him.
Had. Keyword had. So when we talk about sports injuries, we talk about some of the crazy ones. But we also talk about some of the stupid ones. Like Plexico Burress shooting himself in the leg.
Hey, I mean.
Receiver, no more receiver that year. I mean, you don't just take a bullet to the leg and come right back like, I can run sprints.
Nope.
There's a big hole in your muscle.
Yeah. Aerodynamic.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to be careful.
You do.
And then there's these injuries that happen while you're on the field that you just can't stop.
Yes.
Like football player. Or this guy.
This guy. Let's just say this guy. Salim Sidiri?
Probably just Siduri.
Sidiri?
Probably soft S.
Probably. Have you ever been stabbed in the back, Josh?
No.
Oh, that's good. Well, how about have a javelin thrown through you?
No, that's never happened to me.
No, are you sure? Not maybe not last summer.
I mean, I do have back pain, but it's not from a javelin.
Not from a javelin. Well, our good friend Salim does.
Oh, you can watch this video online.
Oh yes, you
Go
can.
to YouTube. You can check him out.
I remember from the story tells, because this research page does not have much to it. He was just getting off of practice.
He's the high jump or pole vault. Can't remember exactly which
was
one.
high jump.
But it was one of those ones where he's got to jump over a pole.
Yeah.
Notice jump over a pole. And then there's a girl practicing.
Javelin throw as you would
Which
expect.
is throwing a pole with a very sharp tip.
Yeah, and Salim didn't jump high enough. And it hit him.
He didn't quite see it coming.
It was kind of behind him, to be fair.
And to be honest, I think the girl aimed for him. Because, really, you've got this huge field in front of you. And you're going to go that far wide left?
Yep.
Come on.
I don't like him.
You don't even have to spin in the javelin. You just run up and chuck,
Yeah.
So, yeah, he wore one in the back. You can see it on a YouTube video. He spins after he gets hit, and he's holding it in his back. And, of course, it went through his liver and his kidney.
Yes. Two pretty vital organs.
Pretty important. Stuck him through.
Hey, man.
I will say, he didn't get to compete that year in the Olympics
No,
anymore.
he did not. But on the bright side, he became one of the world's first shish kebabs.
Yeah, I can't remember the goalie's name, but he played for the Rangers, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately enough, he's going to be going down as one of the most horrific injuries in hockey. And I want to call it the Happy Gilmore injury. Because he's the only one who's ever had a skate fly off of another individual. He's a goalie.
Yep.
And slices his carotid artery. Yeah. Picture online. Great picture, by the way. Spewing blood onto the ice.
Cannot show that on YouTube, sadly.
It's brown. I mean, it's not really blood. It's blackened. It's a black and white picture. Anyways, it happened a while ago. But, he's done. He was done at that moment. Almost took his head off, I would say.
But on the bright side...
Luckily, they're not super sharp.
Yeah, on the bright side, he got to enjoy a nice retirement.
One of the most gruesome injuries that has happened on hockey.
And that says something, because it's hockey.
Yep.
Hockey has a lot of accidents.
I mean, all the punching, all the really big hits, you'd think that there was worse, but having a skate fly off and hit you in the neck, only thing worse would be Happy Gilmore taking his shoe off and trying to stab you.
I mean, but he'd get a reward for it.
Yeah, he'd be the only one on record.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
So there's that. Let's see if I'm making sure this is not the same guy.
Sure.
Steve Moore.
Okay.
Was a victim of the most brutal cheap shots in NHL history. Late in the third period matchup against the Vancouver
Canucks.
I said Chinooks.
Yeah, Canucks.
Moore's life would change when he was struck in the back of the head by Todd Bertuzzi. I don't know.
Bertuzzi.
I was close. Earlier that season, Moore had delivered a devastating yet fair check to Marcus Naslund. The next match between Moore's Avalanche and the Canucks occurred without incident. In the following matchup, Moore fought Matt Cook in a fairly even scrap in the late stages of that game, which was dominated by Colorado Baritsi. I think I messed that one up bad now. Sought to provoke a fight with Moore and was rebuffed as the score was 5-0.
That killed him.
Moore attempted to skate away from him, but was struck by a devastating right hook to the back of the head
in the dome,
bulldogged to the ground. Moore's teammates raced to avenge their teammate, but the damage had already been done. Moore suffered 3 fractured vertebrae and a severe concussion as a result of the cheap shot. The person was suspended for 20 games. Moore sued him in a civil lawsuit seeking $68 million. The lawsuit was settled out in court as an unenclosed settlement, and he never played another game of hockey.
Nope. You snap the vertebrae, you can't play anymore.
Surprisingly.
Maybe you guys have heard of the running back Terrell Davis.
I think I have.
Yeah? One of the best running backs of all time for Denver Broncos. I would imagine you have. So he was playing in the Super Bowl. He won the MVP, by the way, for this. So give credit where credit's due. This is one of those injuries that maybe could have been avoided, but when it happened, he decided to play through it.
Yeah.
He went blind. Yeah, during the game, he got hit and went unconscious. Mm-hmm. He came to. They asked him if he was fine. He says, good. Goes to the sideline to wait a few plays out. And while he's sitting on the sideline, everything starts to go black. Comes back in, just plays a few more plays, ran one play, unable to see a thing. Then they hauled him off to the locker room, gave him migraine medication. He temporarily lost his vision. It can be a symptom of migraine headaches. He sat there for what seemed to be the longest 15 minutes of life. Wonder if he'd ever go down as the guy who got hit so hard at the Super Bowl that he went blind. Of course, he didn't. He could finally see after a while.
Goodness.
But it was a side effect from how hard he got hit. But yeah, he went blind and he played one play even. The only person to ever play on a football team in the NFL blind. They did have a blind kicker on USC. Kicker? Yeah. Either kicker or kick holder. I can't remember which one.
I mean, if you line the kicker up, if he's got a good leg,
yeah,
he's got a good leg.
Step kick.
Yeah, all right, just kick.
But yeah, that was.
I mean, some blind people could even learn as a form of sonar.
Sure. Yeah, I heard that African American fella.
Yeah, you know. Now, I'm being actually fully honest. There's actually research that goes into that. Mm-hmm. It's crazy stuff there. Honestly. Oh, my shoulders are killing me today.
Anyways,
trying to find something else besides hockey.
Hockey's got the best ones.
They do have the best ones. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love hockey fights.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about our good friend Eric Legrand. Eric Legrand's life changed instantly as he tore down the field on kickoff coverage during the fourth quarter of the game between the Rutgers and Army.
Mm-hmm. College.
Yeah, this is not
college football.
It's college football. So you know he's good when he's got a college football injury on this list.
Big one.
Legrand collided with the ball carrier with his head down and remained motionless for several minutes. He received credit for the tackle, but had to be carted off on the field. It was later revealed that Legrand had fractured 2 vertebrae, which left him paralyzed below the neck. After months of dedication and rehab, Legrand regained movement in his shoulders and feeling in his body. In July 2011, he posted a picture on Twitter of him standing with the support of a metal frame. He was signed to a...
Sealed and delivered? Sorry. Signed, sealed, delivered. He's yours. Anyways.
He was signed to a ceremonial contract by Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Legrand was able to complete his studies at Rutgers, earning a degree in labor relationships, and spoke at his graduation ceremony.
That's awesome. Well, at least he didn't die.
No, and it sounds like he's doing A-okay for what he has.
Yeah, I mean we went more and more severe each round. Of course, now we've gotten to death.
Uh-oh.
There has been a few deaths in the line of sports.
There has.
I mean, you play on these kind of situations and this happens. if you do a quick search on YouTube after this video, you might want to write this down. You can look up what's called the Angel of Death Soccer. And it's just a simple video and weird music behind it because a lot of people have edited it and chose their own stuff. But basically what happens is this guy named Anthony Van Loo, they're playing, I can't remember his team. Let me see if they have the team name here. And Nope. Doesn't matter. Anyways, they're playing and he's on offense. He's running down the field and the ball's coming down and he goes to, I guess, do a header, just trying to keep the ball in play. This guy comes up and tries to kick the ball.
Uh-oh.
Well, he misses the ball and knocks Anthony's head back. Snapped his neck, instant death. Well, like a chicken with his head cut off, though, he falls back, then springs back to life, jumps a couple times, moves, hits the ground with his back, arches up, and then back down, and he was done.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the video is like, whoa.
Yeah.
And you don't know kind of what happened. You just all of a sudden it looks like a collision, like everyday kind of collision, and then all of a sudden he's running. You're like, what the crap's going on with this guy?
Yeah.
And then he falls backwards. You're like, oh, he must be hurt. Because, when soccer players get hurt, they really animate what's going on. And so you're like, oh, maybe he was just kind of playing it up or whatever. No, he was dead. They get to him. They try and do the defibrillator on him. Nothing works. Dude was dead on contact, man. Just done.
That's crazy.
But, yeah, you can still find it on YouTube. It's a very brutal thing, though. If you're going to watch it, just know that
pretty dark.
It's going to test your will. And it was like, whoa. I watched it for the first time. I was like, dang, man. That dude's done. I mean, he is done. So it was just one of those things.
Yeah.
Much respect for his family and him, but, man, what a play. You can watch it on YouTube. You can look it up yourself.
That's crazy. Gosh.
Oh. Yeah. It's really weird to see that happen after the guy clearly died.
Yeah. I can imagine.
I see you have a death.
I do.
Different sport altogether.
I don't even remember if it was actually called a sport in our list. I don't remember if we did or not.
Mm-hmm. We called it a sport.
All right. Good then. So, you've heard of Dale Earnhardt, right?
Not Junior.
Nope.
One of the best racers of all time.
Dale Earnhardt was a legend in NASCAR racing, earning the nickname the Intimidator for his tenacity on and off the track. During his 2001 Daytona 500, Earnhardt's son, Dale Jr., was in second place as the race was coming to a close, with Dale Sr. blocking opponent racers repetitively. In the race's final lap, Dale Earnhardt slammed into the outside wall of Turn 3 at over 150 miles per hour as he attempted to block another passing attempt by Sterling Marlin. Dale Sr. was rushed to the hospital but pronounced dead later that day. An autopsy stated that he had died immediately upon impact of blunt trauma force. As a result of this crash, the hands, the head, and neck restraint system devices are now required equipment in all NASCAR drivers.
He didn't have one of those neck bar things that snapped in.
I won't lie. This might sound a little macabre thing weird, but sometimes death is what really needs to be pushed over for more safety concerns in certain sports.
Well, I mean, there was a ton of car wrecks on Old Farm Road in Bakersfield, and because of it, they decided to put a light in instead of just it wasn't even a stop sign at first.
Yeah.
When my brother got hit right there, it wasn't a stop sign. They just turned in front of a excursion and the thing rolled right up on top of the Nissan. When
they notice things start going bad,
yeah.
They make things more required.
Which is why football is such a pansy sport now.
Yeah.
We had a lot of injuries, and it wasn't because of the sport, what was being worn. It was how they were playing the sport. So it's one of those things that a lot of people make fun of us, and that's why. It just sucks. So, yeah. For people that like NASCAR, it's almost a sore subject. You can't hardly ever talk about it. So we'll just leave it there. That's what happened. It's a big deal. If you're in NASCAR and you bring up Dale Earnhardt, you got to talk with respect. So one of the best racers of all time died on the course. Going from a really sad thing to kind of a funny thing. There's a guy named he's a rugby player.
Ooh.
Named Wayne Shelford.
Shelford.
Yeah, rugby is a brutal sport.
It is.
And it makes football look weak. And this guy got unlucky in the most specific way. So I'll just give a synopsis here. There are a few criteria to meeting before playing, such as being hardened Englishmen with a crew cut and loving the crap out of collars and horizontal stripes. It's kind of the baseline for rugby. But all that understood, Wayne Buck was his nickname. Shelford was a professional rugby player in New Zealand. In 1986, the opponent was the French rugby team. The match was so incredibly intense that they named it Battle of Nantes. Nantes? Whatever. After a French revolutionary battle. Obviously, I don't do history. Anyways, about 20 minutes into the match, Shelford found himself at the bottom of one of those gnarly ruck things we mentioned earlier.
Gnarly.
A ruck is like a...
Yeah.
Anyways. When you're in this, guys get pretty mean. They'll gouge, they'll bite, they'll pull.
Anything to win.
And they're really tough dudes. So, any man reading this ought to grab their junk and vomit. Because the next part is weird. Shelford had his scrotum ripped open by a cleat. He was jogged off the field with a testicle hanging out of him. Literally hanging.
Ooh.
So what did he do? He's a tough dude, but a torn nutsack, that would make him Superman. That would make Superman curl into a whimpering ball. So he went off the course, off the field, and got medical attention. Cleat ripped his nutsack open and had everything hanging out. Luckily, only one got out. Being a man who's had a vasectomy with a lot of medicine being applied so that it didn't hurt, I guarantee you, that was the most excruciating pain he's ever felt.
If I ever will feel.
Although the funny thing is, if he was already married, he could have got the vasectomy done right then, called it good. Ooh, yeah.
That's one of those things where you start seeing it and you're like, it hits stomach, and it basically feels like you just got hit in the nuts. Almost.
Well, you got to think about this too. It's hanging so that it's being pulled as he steps. Yeah. Oh.
As I said, you get that feel. It looks like it felt like you got hit in the nuts.
That's not good. I would say one of the worst injuries that has happened in sports.
Yeah.
You got one more though.
I got one more. Whew. It's baseball.
For guys, girls, you don't understand. For guys, that's just rough.
That's a subject we don't want to talk about.
Baseball, you said though.
Baseball. Not
baseball. He thinks he's gonna score.
Ray Chapman.
Yeah, I know that name.
Remains the only player to have ever died of injuries suffered because he got hit by a pitch. Mm-hmm. The incident occurred during an August 16th, 1920 game.
It's before helmets.
It's old.
This is back when it's not safe to be baseball player times.
NSFB.
Yeah, there you go. Not safe for baseball players.
Not safe for baseball. NSFBP.
There you go.
Between the Cleveland Indians and the New York Yankees at the Polo Grounds.
Oh, by the way, one of the best parks ever.
Oh, yeah?
Really, really short center field, short center field, really long lines. So if you got one down the line, you're looking at a home run.
Oh,
it's great. It's great.
Sorry, guys.
So,
pitcher Carler Mays delivered the pitch in the typical submarine delivery, which struck Chapman near the ear without Chapman attempting to move to avoid the pitch.
You ever seen a submarine pitcher throw?
Nope.
They throw it from about where their ankle's at. Yeah, they bend over and throw it from underneath.
Interesting.
It's very hard and very difficult to judge, so I can understand why he didn't move.
Yeah. According to the accounts, the impact sounded similar to hitting a bat, which caused Mays to throw the ball to first base for the out. Chapman took the few staggering steps before he collapsed. As blood poured out of his ear, he died 12 hours later of a depressed skull fracture. The incident led to the baseball banning the spitball the following season.
Yeah, I don't even know why the spitball was such a big deal. I mean, I know it moved, but from a submarine pitcher, any ball is hard to judge. Yeah. So, yeah, and then no helmets, obviously a big deal. I mean, you could have at least had the leather ones.
Yeah, you would think, maybe they'll put the helmet. No, so that's not required.
Hard ball flying at your head, nah.
Nah.
The helmets they got now are pretty decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only person ever killed by a pitch in baseball, right there, Ray Chapman. Will go down in history.
I mean, it's almost been 100 years.
Him and Billy Buckner. Anyways, so maybe you're saying those were all great, but you forgot this one that I really like. Well, there's a comment section below. Yeah, and if you like the video, you're like, oh, those are great ones. You can like the video. There's a little thumbs up. Click it. And then maybe you like the video so much you want to watch more of us. Well, subscribe to us and it'll take you right to our page and you'll be able to see all the fun stuff. Now, you are subscribed, but you didn't know this video was uploaded. You're like weeks behind. Well, it's because you didn't have your bell on. Make sure your bell's on. And by the way, forgot to bring this out during this video.
I was wondering when that would happen. Don't worry, Coco. I had my due the entire time.
So, maybe you don't have a YouTube account and you're like, I want to do all this stuff, but I have a Facebook only. Well, Shae, you want to take them through the rest of this?
Yeah. Here
it is.
So, right there we got a good old pal Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, where you can contact us for free and we can try to answer as many questions as we do see. And right there's our Patreon.
We're all over it.
All over it. Especially Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
And there's our Patreon where you can donate a $1 and you can get access to our Discord. And there's the grand finalist of the $500 donation sword, which is a joke. You'll have it, but the idea of it is a joke. $5.
It's not a joke. It's cool. It's cool. We want somebody about it.
It's a gag.
Big time winner.
Like it's a gag. There it is. You have fun making a mess?
Yeah, I love it.
How good. And if you donate any sort of money, you get invited directly into our Discord where you can say, hey, it's the 2 Dudes to do.
Sticker, shout out, Discord, all for any amount of money. Yes.
At $5, you can buy privileges, and that goes anywhere from all.
Yeah, if you know this one. Yes. So there's also these people that hang out with you guys, and you don't even know they're there.
No, you're like, whoa, there's more than just YouTube? Well, yes, of course, we got the audio land.
You're like, I love 20-minute episodes, but I need more. I need more dude. 2 dudes would do that is.
I did.
2 dudes. I need more 2 dudes would do. Well, that's where all these things come in handy. There's Podbean, Instagram, and Spotify. They all are places you can find us for just audio in case you want to listen to on your headphones or whatever. You don't want to sit with a screen open.
Yeah,
And then if you're on iTunes, why not rate and review us?
Well,
and then you're like, well, I don't have Spotify, iTunes, or Podbean, whatever that is. Well, that's what we upload. But it also goes to Podcast Addict, all these other great stuff that you can find us on. So just search up the number 2 Dudes with Do. You'll probably find us.
Oh.
So, for you,
and one of the dudes,
I am Josh.
and I am Shae. Let's just give me another dude.
See ya.